All right, welcome to the Beyond Blessed team call for November. I'm so glad you guys are here. And we are going to kind of give a preview into the Plexus Corporate Book Club that is happening this coming Saturday. It is one of, I think, the biggest value adds that Plexus does for us as leaders, like organization wide. And so many people don't take advantage of it. I know that those of you on this call that you do, but it's one of those things that I have started inviting more and more people to, like really sending personal invitations to, because the books and the authors are so good that even if someone did not do the Plexus business, they could benefit from these calls. And how often do you get to sit in a Zoom call with a major, like usually New York Times bestselling author? And Plexus does that for us every single month. And so it is fantastic. And the book this month is, what was it called, guys? I just totally blanked on the name of it. It's exactly what to say.
Yeah. Yep.
And blanking on the author's name, which I was going to have the graphic pulled up. But it is so good. And you can go to YouTube and you can listen to it. And it is only an hour and 15 minutes on normal speed. But if you speed it up, it's like 50 minutes. And I listen to everything on top speed. So I have already listened to it 4 times. Genevieve is always telling us that you need to listen to a book 7 times before it really sinks in, which just seems like a lot to me. But after the 4th time, I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to remember some of these questions, and it is really helpful. So I thought that we would, and he'll break it down on Saturday for us. I still recommend everyone going and listening to that and listening to the book all the way through. But I thought that we would take it even further and be like, okay, how does this apply to us? Like our specific businesses? What are some product questions? What are some business questions that we can jot down and have as a resource so that they're fresh in our mind? I've been doing this 7 years, and I always am getting better at how I ask questions, tweaking the things that I'm saying. As we learn and grow, we just need to learn how to become better communicators. And so we are always in process with this, I feel like. And so I loved this book. I loved the questions. It is so pertinent to what we do. And so I asked Stephanie and Terry to do a couple examples for us in the first, second, third, fourth questions, and then I'll take 5 and 6. And then depending on where we're at with time, we can talk through a couple of the other ones, but then you guys can go do that on your own time. But also, because Stephanie is so amazing, she created a Google spreadsheet for us and had already worked in some of the questions on all of these that he gives. There's 23 of them, and I filled in the rest. And so we will share that Google Doc with everyone on the team page I think we can share it in the comments, right? We can put it in the chat. We'll get it to anyone who wants it. So that way you can go in and add to it and go in and look and grab questions as you need them, as you need reminded. So it will be a resource that we have going forward. I also made a little graphic that I'll share that just has the prompts and not all the questions that you can save to your phone. So if you're like, oh, what was that question? How could I ask that better? How can I tweak that? We'll have a quick version that we can grab. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie, and she's going to talk us through the first 2 questions that he shares.
All right. So if you haven't listened to the book yet, it's so good. It's just like so simple, but I feel like all these different 23 things are just so helpful. So I'm planning to like print out the document and just have like that list of reminders up here behind my computer or my desk so I can just see them at all the time. But anyway, the first one is, I don't know if it's for you, and he talked about how just using that phrase is just so helps just take the pressure off of the person that you're talking to right away, and it helps them just feel more relaxed because they don't feel like the pressure from from you or feel like they're getting pushed into something, because you're just saying, I don't know if it's for you, but, and it also piques their curiosity at the same time. So a couple of examples that I put on the document for kind of specific to Plexus, or I don't know if it's for you, but would you be interested in an extra stream of income? Or I don't know if it's for you, but do you know anyone looking to lose some weight before the holidays? And a lot of times, if you just fill that last part in with, something that most people want, then they're going to be like, I think this might be for me, or they're going to want to learn more. So it's just a good way to pique their curiosity. And then the second one is open-minded. And so he talks about approaching people and just saying, would you be open to dot, dot, dot? And because people want to be seen as open-minded, or they want to think that they're open-minded. So rather than just saying, do you want to join the messenger event or whatever, just asking it with, would you be open to, changes it a ton, because people want to be seen as open. They don't want to think of themselves as closed-minded. So we could say, like, if I could show you how to get the cost of your products covered, would you be open to that? Or would you be open to learning more about the products that get to the root causes of illness? So yeah, those are just from the first two, but I feel like those are just, even if you just started using those two in all your conversations, that just is so helpful and just really, yeah.
Yes, I will also add that it kind of is a progression of conversation as you go down his list, although it's not completely that way, because at any point, some of the questions that are like lower on the list, you can bring up, like if there are objections that even come up, even in the first couple questions. The one that came to mind was like, basically, oh, tell me why you say that, or tell me more about that. To any objection, which can come up even in those first two, but it is kind of a conversation progression. So yes, especially these first two, pretty much always we're going to use these in having conversations with people and inviting them to the things that we're doing. So thank you, Stephanie, for those examples. So good. Okay, Terry, you want to do your 3 and 4?
Okay, so number 3 is, what do you know? And we all like to know something about something that we're passionate about. And so I had a couple examples, both like to start the conversation, because it is a progression. You can't just like cold message someone and be like, hey, what do you know about gut health? If you haven't even talked to them about anything. And so I was thinking, that question, what do you know? If there's someone, you've been following for a while, or a friend, they know something about something that you could at least segue the conversation to. And so there was a lady on here she's like a personal trainer. And so I asked her about a couple different kinds of exercises. She does some free videos. And then she turned around and was asking me about the Plexus products. And I was like, what do you know about gut health? Because that opened up the conversation. And, turned out she didn't know that much about it. So we're I'm like, oh my gosh, I've learned so much in the last few years about, the products and what they can do to help. And also just, our food sources, the things we're drinking, even water. Also, what do you know about the symptoms that you're experiencing? Because everybody's body's different. My symptoms, even though, Danielle and I might be experiencing the same thing, sometimes our symptoms might be a little different. And so what do they know about their body and their symptoms, which will give you a clue as to what we can recommend, what we can say, which products would be helpful, or, oh, I have a friend that has experienced that if you haven't. So that was my part about products. And also then my little question, using the same question, but also on a business side. So I tried to do a product side and a business side. What do you know about network marketing? Because so many people just have such a bad taste. And I'd never done it before. And so I have this kind of non-emotional tie to it because I'd never done it. I never had a bad experience. I only picked the best one first. So, getting some of those objections out of the way first. It's like, okay, yes, I know you have that experience with network marketing, but here is our side of it. And also, what do you know? What do you know about budgeting, inflation? Like all of those things are happening right now. And so it's like, what do you know about these things, and how could Plexus fit into those categories? And how can you help for some of those things? I kind of had a harder time with that one, with the business part, because just struggling a little bit with that. My other question is a super good question though. How would you feel? Which is like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite question. So my first was, how would you feel about, all the things, more energy, if you slept through the night, if you could say no to the cupcake, like all those things that they're possibly thinking, saying, complaining about, find that one and be like, how would you feel if, you had the energy to park in the very furthest parking space instead of rolling around the parking lot 20 times? And I love how, when I say, how would you feel? Because I have felt this way, that feel, felt, found, little synopsis is so perfect because people love to know they're not alone. So how would you feel if you could lose the weight that you have struggled to use for so many years? Because I have had that problem. And sticking your story in there too, so that they can connect with you. Nails and hair, if you weren't constipated, if your joints didn't hurt, if you were less swollen, all those things that we know people are experiencing, because we have. And then how would you feel if you could give more to your nonprofits? Because that's kind of my life, like I'm not looking for more wiggle room in my budget. I'm looking for, how can I give more? How can I serve more with my finances? How would you feel if you could pay for a trip for your family? Because it's becoming less and less people are going to be able to afford to take their family anywhere. How would you feel if you could buy something and not have to wiggle around in your budget? Because, we've all done it. We've all said, oh my gosh, we need this, or I want my kids to have this. And then ultimately it's always come out of our grocery budget, because that's where we could we got some wiggle room in there. How would you feel if you could pay for soccer or music lessons for your kids? Kids are a huge deal. Like a lot of us do this because of our kids. And how would you feel if you could finally save for XYZ? I was reading this article that said only 20% of people have an actual savings account that they could use for something traumatic that happened. And I thought that was surprising, but I think people don't really save much. So I loved my how would you feel one. That was my favorite one.
Yes. And he points out in there that people are motivated by feelings first. You have to touch on what they feel. Like, we don't make purchases based on rational thinking most of the time. The first thing we do is go to feelings. And so we just need to hone in on that. And I can be someone who is like, well, these are the facts. Like, let me tell you why it works. And these are all the reasons, scientifically, but they want to know, how will I feel? They don't care most of the time. They just want to know if it's going to make a difference. Right. So I love those, which then naturally leads into the next question, which was just imagine. And I don't know if, I just think Plexus does a really good job with this anyways, in like team pages and people sharing their experiences, right? So whether that's, because I remember thinking, you know, can just imagine me being on that stage holding that big check. And I had been watching Emily Roberts videos, you know, from the beginning, and to watch her walk across that stage with a big check, and then to imagine what that would feel like, what it would be like. And then when I did make it on that big stage and stood next to Emily Roberts with my big check, it was amazing. It just felt like, gosh, going back to the beginning when I did that, I imagined. And so that's what we get to do for people, is to paint the picture and to dream for them before they get to, and asking those questions, you know. And again, he's like, you make a decision twice. You make it first by imagining it, and then you make it actually happen. And it is so true. And so with the product side of it, you know, even when I started watching people's stories, and it was like, oh man, just imagine if I didn't feel exhausted every day by 2 and I parented from the couch, or I relied on, you know, PBS Kids or whatever it was, because I just couldn't function. Just imagine what it would be like to not cancel plans and lay in the dark with a migraine multiple times a month. Just imagine how you will feel in 6 months if you say yes today. And my daughter always says, future Jenna will thank you, will thank me. I was just like, yes, your future self will thank you if you make the best choice now. Just imagine what that will be like. And then, you know, on the business side, just imagine the looks on your kids' faces when you take them on that trip that they've always wanted to go on. And again, it was like, just imagine yourself on that beach in Hawaii. And that picture was painted, you know, for me for years. And I keep painting that for you guys, like picture yourself in that, walking those sandy beaches. And then again, the check one was another example that I gave, but just painting the picture for your people. And you have to be in those conversations to even know, like, what do they want to imagine, you know, because everyone is motivated by something different. Like for Terry, just imagine, you know, writing that big check for the organization that you care about. It's a really big deal. So I love all of those. And then this next one is, when would be a good time? And this assumes that there will be a good time. This doesn't give an out like, oh, I can't do that. Can't do that. It automatically thinks, oh, I don't know, when would be a good time? They start to think, when can I make that happen? And so not doing it isn't an option. It just gives that option first, which is what we want. So when would be a good time for you to take a look at this? When would be a good time to have a phone call so we can get you signed up? Or when can we, you know, would be a good time that we can talk and I can answer your questions? When would be a good time? You know, a lot of people say, oh, I got to talk to my husband. Say, okay, well, when would be a good time for you to do that? Like, actually make them set that, that time. And just because of time's sake, we won't go into the rest of them, but those, I mean, those are really going to get your conversation started. And so I just want to encourage you guys, go to the Google Doc. First of all, listen to the book. Second, listen to the author this weekend on the call, on the book club call, but then go through and even add in your own questions that you can ask in there, because it's only going to help you in your business and in conversations, and it will flow more naturally. These are all so good. There was only one that I was like, I don't love that question, but 1 out of 23 is pretty darn good. I was like, I think he knows what he's doing. So I love this. I love that we can always be, you know, growing and asking the right questions baits for what we want to catch. really. So if we're asking the questions that are going to, you know, help people, lead them in that direction, that's what we want. We don't want to make it harder for ourselves or for them. So we will stop there, but I will share the Google Doc and the graphic after the call. because I think it's so helpful. And just go invite your teams as well to come and listen, because I think if people know the right questions to ask, it's less scary as well. So, okay. I did want to ask if there was anything that you guys are doing that you want to share, that you feel like this is working, I'm encouraged by this, anything that you're trying, like just a little share the wealth with the team, because I think that we can learn so much from each other and share ideas that we may not have thought of. Even Stephanie, maybe I'll call on you, because you told me this week of something that you were trying to do at your gym and I loved it. I was like, that's such a good idea.
Yeah, I might just need to email the lady. I called and left her a message and I haven't heard from her. But anyway, so I have been going to just different, most of the time I go to like the same class during the week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or close. I see a lot of the same people in the classes that I go to at the gym, and our gym has like an area upstairs, kind of like a free, has like a workspace, and then just like an area to have a small group of people sit. So I was going to ask if I could use that space to do like a little class and invite people from the classes I'm meeting at the gym, and just like, and I was thinking today, especially if it takes this lady a while to get back to me, but a good time to plan for it might be toward like the end of December, kind of like after Christmas, but before New Year's, when people are maybe some of the holiday stuff has slowed down, but to kind of like focus on like your New Year's resolutions, like your health goals and like things that you can do to enhance your results that you're, trying to get at the gym. So that's something that's in progress. I'm hoping to do like an in-person thing at the gym if they'll allow me to. And I was telling the lady, like, I would be offering like products, like, is that okay? So just gonna make sure that I can do that, but hopefully that'll work. And then I just put it on the calendar for like 2 weeks from today to just have for like locally my customers that are here, like a little customer appreciation holiday party before it gets real busy with the holidays. And I'm hoping that I checked last night that Momentum Meetup link still works. And I just put in my invite that there'd be like snacks, but then we would have here like a short training from, was it Michelle Hyatt or what was her name? Anyway, the lady from the author that spoke in Momentum training. I thought her part was like so good. So, and that was like 15 minutes. So I will do like treats and then watch that part just from her, just talking about winning at work and at life. Like it doesn't have to be Plexus related, but just I thought that would be helpful for like anybody. And then I was looking up her planner and I said I would do a giveaway of her full focus planner. So, and I have 2 people who already said yes, that they'll come.
That is so awesome. I love that. That is so great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Kelly, before you go, get in your car, are you going to do the little like scratch off things again? We had talked about it, but.
That's my goal. I haven't gone in there. I'm hoping that it's all saved somewhere on this gal's like PDFs, but there was a gal on Etsy last year. There's nothing in there, honey. You have to get your cup right here and put some water in it. Okay. There was a friend of mine in RNF and Rodan Fields actually was doing this. And I'm like, tell me more about what you did there. And she found this gal on Etsy that makes these scratch tickets. I don't even know what it's like. Here, Avery.
I don't know where the hydrate packets.
They're all gone. I got to get some more. Look at this one. She's fun. Where's the hydrate? Oh, she's in her undies. Here you go. Anyway, but she told me about this. It's like a postcard size. Well, maybe a little bit bigger. You'd put it in an envelope, you'd mail it. And I had, if I remember right, like 5 circles that were scratch tickets, like you could pick just one. And I told them like, it's only valid if only one of them is scratched. But then I got to decide which like coupons or discounts or giveaways was behind each one of those. And so I had some people that got a shaker bottle, some people that got like $10 off, or $5 off. I might even had a $15 off their order, a shaker bottle, and then I don't know what the other one was, but I might do like a frother wand on there and then some kind of like money off, maybe a shaker bottle or whatever still too. But I send it to like all my level ones or most of them, like customers. I might just do everyone this year. Like, so even, you know, some of the people that might be on calls like this, you know, just saying.
Oh,
Because
sorry, I
it
just
was
ruined
so-
it.
I know, but you wouldn't know which one it is. But I just thought it was a fun way to say thank you. And then they had fun. Like some of the customers that have been loyal, but I never really connect with as much, like loved it and responded well to it. And only probably, I don't even know if 5 people took advantage of it. I sent out like 30 or something, but it was still fun. I thought it was still fun and totally worth it. So I want to do it again and maybe add some new variety to it or whatever, but I'm hoping that the design is still safe somewhere. I don't know. I'll go back to that, but it was fun to create that for sure. It was on Etsy, super easy.
That's awesome. Anyone else have fun ideas for business or customer care towards the end of the year? I'm starting to design, I'm going to do a Christmas postcard and mail that out on Canva because Canva is so easy. And I just think sometimes we don't even need a full card, like just something. So. All right. Also, I already gave this shout out earlier, but Danielle and Kelly and hosting the Momentum Meetup. I mean, any events we can do in person are so beneficial. And I'm always so jealous of the teams that are, when you have a team, a local team. I am still working on that, but whenever you can do that, and Super Saturday coming up, hosting another one of those in Spokane will be so awesome. So great job, you guys. Okay, so then the last thing we'll touch on, upcoming events. We have the Reset Messenger event is this Thursday. And there is an IPA challenge. I know Danielle already did it. She was the first one to comment today on that post on the Rise business page, the IPA challenge. And so there will be one of the activities is inviting 5 people to the Messenger event. Those are so easy. It's a great way for those who are just starting out in this business to invite their friends to, or to even join in and see what it's like. And then, of course, book club. So we can be inviting people to that. And Black Friday deals are going to be rolling out in, oh my gosh, just a little over a week. I can't even believe that that's true. Isn't it true? It's like a week and a half. Yep. And that is going to lead us to, it's going to help out with the next challenge that we have, which will be in December, but we're going to start inviting people at the end of this month. And we don't have a name, but it's going to be something about gut glam or glow up. I don't know. We still have to decide on the name of that. So those are the things that are coming up this month that we can take advantage of that are already in the works for you guys. Just continue to look through your people or those people you're in conversations with and think, what is their next baby step? Like, what is the next thing that I can help move them in the right direction? Whether that's someone who's not a customer yet or is a customer, business builder, whatever it is, those people in our life to be faithful and think, what is it that I can invite them to for their next step, their next micro commitment, and help our people do that. And then I don't know if next month we will have a team call, but hopefully a Christmas party like we normally do, because that's going to be here before we know it. Okay, so I think those are all the things I wrote down. Did I forget anything? Does anyone have anything else knowing what's happening this month that I missed. Nothing. All right. Well, thank you, Stephanie and Terry, for helping with those questions. I will go post them in the group on the T page, and hopefully everyone can make it on Saturday and that those are helpful for you guys. But I so appreciate you being here. So grateful for all of you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.